So let's go into creating this environment.
Yes.
What's a good way to do that?
Creating an interactive audio environment. All right. And this, of course, is on gamedeveloper.com. So we've grabbed a couple of articles from here in the past.
Right.
And he's going to go over the whole concept of the audio until he gets down to this part right here. So he's going to talk a little bit about how sound affects you. And then he's going to jump into actual how-tos. The reason that I want to spread light on this is, and I actually was talking about this on my audio design short form that I've never finished, and I probably should one day. Music and sound create an emotional response in you.
Yes,
everyone's going to respond to some kind of emotional something, whether it be a musical swell, to generate adrenaline, as he's talking about, or a set of strings that are really high pitched that create tension.
Yes.
But it could also be sound and not music. For example, a baby crying. A baby crying can create that feeling of anxiety of, I have to help this defenseless thing.
Yeah.
A child's laughter could create a sense of relaxation because, it's something sweet and comfortable.
Yeah.
Or if the environment's different, it can create a creepy ass feeling because it's probably a ghost that wants to eat your face off.
Yeah, the juxtaposition of the child's laughter with a frightening situation where a ghost is chasing you.
Yeah.
Phasmophobia does that.
Phasmophobia does that. So he goes into now your audio object vocabulary. So that is a method in which the game objects, not necessarily the speaking ones, just game objects in general, which could be anything from a tree to a box to a ghost, how they talk to each other, how they communicate. This method of communication can vary from object to object. There are 3 types of these object interactions, and that's what we're going to talk about. Before we do that, we actually have a good thing that JD brought up.
Yeah. Consonants and dissonance.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's the feeling of good and bad. So certain types of musical arrangements and certain types of sounds in certain situations create consonants. That's a good feeling. That's a feeling of ease, a feeling of excitement, adrenaline, a feeling of release, and we just got through the bad thing.
That's right.
Relief. Or it could create feelings of tension, feelings of anxiety, feelings of unease, feelings of fear. There's a lot you all can do with sound. Sound is your most powerful weapon.
Yeah,
when you're creating an experience for your player. We are so hardwired to sounds, it's not even funny.
Yeah. And that is all part of the immersion experience that you want for your player.
Yes. So there's direct communication. Object communicates directly as a cause of a direct action on its part, like a ball hitting a paddle.
Right.
And it goes boom. That's in Pong. So let's say you have a ping pong ball hitting your paddle on a ping pong ball. Boom, little boom sound. That's you hitting the ball. Another example would be like a baseball bat hitting a baseball, that large crack sound.
Yes.
That is direct communication. And you're going to want to use these direct communication methods in your game so that the audio is a response to something that the player does directly. Swing a sword, the sword whooshes.
Yeah.
The sword that swings when it hits the enemy, that thunk or clink or slurk as it goes right through the meat sound. Those are direct communication. These are things where the player is doing something and in response, an object, and that could be anything from a sword to an enemy to a ping pong ball to a door that he kicked down. Anything like
anything that you have a direct interaction with.
That is a direct communication. So when you're creating your games, when you're developing your levels, etc., look at those factors. What can cause direct communication? What can cause direct sound? Write it down. Make a list. List to your best friend. List to your best friend. And JD is sitting there in chat plugging himself as an audio engineer and a Foley artist.
A Foley artist.
I can attest JD is amazing at a number of things. I will plug him right now. He is the best audio remasterer that I know personally.
Yes.
He remastered one of our audios, and it is amazing sounding. So good job. Yeah. Always look to give JD your love and support. And
absolutely.
And hire him too.
So let's go to indirect communication.
Indirect communication.
Which is just an indirect way of interacting with an object. So, I know. Okay, so you're hiding, and then an enemy sees you.
The exclamation point popping above their head.
The exclamation point pops up, and there's
like
a little sound effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been spotted.
Yes. Another good example of that in the vein and in Metal Gear Solid, because it doesn't have to be as sound as the music. There is nothing in the world that will get your blood pumping in a Metal Gear Solid game faster than when you hear that sound as the exclamation point goes up. There's an uncomfortable half-second pause, and then the contact music starts.
Yes.
Where you, Snake, are being chased by whatever it is that's trying to kill you. That is an indirect communication. It's not something that the player did directly, but it is a result of their actions as they're playing.
Yeah.
So consider that as well. So for both of these, start making lists and make sure you have audio for every single one of those.
Every single thing.
And then environmental communication, which is the rest of the environment.
That's all of it, yeah.
A great way to do this is bring your character into the middle of your level and don't move them. No swinging swords, no nothing. Turn off their sound if their idle animation is them breathing heavy.
Yeah.
And just look at the world around you. What could make sound? You know, right now in our studio, I hear our little tower fan going off to the left. I hear the AC going off about a room and a half away. And down below, I think I just heard the refrigerator start running again.
Yeah.
To cool down our drinks. All of those are environmental sounds. Outside, I hear frogs and crickets. These are all environmental sounds. Bring your character into the middle of your environment and just look and start writing it down. Again, lists are really important, guys. I cannot stress this enough.
Yeah.
List everything. Don't go and just look at the sprites you have. Look at what's happening to them. A tree is going to make a different sound if it is a sunny day with the wind than if it is the middle of a rainstorm.
Yeah.
So the whole point is, before we move on to the next little pieces, you're going to want to go through each one of your levels and write down everything that could create a direct sound as a result of the player, an indirect sound as a reaction to the player, or the environment. And
we have 0.
What's going on?
Kid must be alert.
Oh my God! I'm trying to give this really come on, guys, man. I'm trying to have that dramatic pause.
We're getting trolled.
And then I have this goofy shit. No, we love you guys. It's true though. I mean, you guys make this a hell of a lot of fun, and I've been talking a lot, so I'm gonna pass it off to you guys in Teal for a few minutes.
Yeah. You know, that's a good way of looking is jumping into the level and looking around. But even before that, when you're planning your level, when you're designing your level, when you write down each of the elements that you put in there, also include a sound that goes with that element. So for example, you're going to have a television or a radio in that space. Then you need to make a note there. It's on. It's playing music. It's playing swing jazz, or the TV is on and it's either showing snow or it's playing a baseball game.
Yes.
So make these copious notes when you're actually planning out your level.
It's a good idea. Every game designer in the world is going to eventually throw an asset into a level that they didn't plan for, but the more prior planning you have, the better.
Yeah. Burke has, something that may help. Sound is part of the narrative. It's the behavior of the world to the player and despite the player.
That's a very good way of putting it, Burke.
That's a good way of putting it, Burke. Yeah.
And BG says that when he hired his composer, giving them ideas for the town helped so that they could come up with the right tunes and factor and all that stuff that might be sound. That's true.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go into it because I am not the only person on this team, but one of the team that I was on for the Hawktober Game Jam, we have an amazing composer who we had to kind of work with to establish the mood for each part of the game. And you have to work with that person. You can't just say, hey, make some music.
Yeah.
Give lots of information.
Give direction. Oh, we have a follow by Bet We Bros 2022.
Awesome. Welcome to Studio Blue. It is good to see you. So yeah, before we move on to the last piece here, just remember guys, proper prior planning prevents piss poor performance is not just something that your math teacher said to you when getting ready to study for your final.
Yeah.
It is a axiom that you can use as a game developer, and sound is no exception.